Playwright runs your test suite in 8 seconds. Cypress takes 23. Selenium takes 45. Same tests, same machine, same app. In 2026, the gap isn't just performance, it's developer experience, browser support, and production reliability. So which one should you be using? Welcome to AmtocSoft. I'm going to give you the complete breakdown of Playwright, Cypress, and Selenium in 2026, not just feature lists, but the real trade-offs that matter when you're choosing a testing stack for a production application. We'll cover architecture, developer experience, browser and mobile support, CI pipeline integration, and a definitive decision framework for which tool to use when. By the end, you'll have a clear answer, no waffling. End-to-end testing has always been the hardest layer of the testing pyramid. Unit tests are fast and deterministic. Integration tests are manageable. But E2E tests, tests that spin up a real browser, navigate a real UI, and verify real user flows, those are where projects go to die. Flaky tests that pass locally but fail in CI. Tests that take 30 minutes to run so nobody runs them. Tests written against internal implementation details that break every time you refactor. The history of browser automation is a graveyard of tools that solved some of these problems while creating new ones. Selenium started it all in 2004. By 2017, teams were so frustrated with its limitations that Cypress came along with a completely different architecture. Then in 2020, Microsoft released Playwright and quietly changed what was possible. Understanding why each tool was built the way it was is essential to knowing when to use it. Selenium is the grandfather. It's been around for 20 years. If you've touched browser automation at any point in your career, you've touched Selenium. The architecture is based on the WebDriver protocol. Your test code talks to a driver which talks to the browser. This indirection is both Selenium's strength and its weakness. The strength: it works with every browser in every language: Java, Python, C#, Ruby, JavaScript. Selenium is the lowest common denominator, and that universality matters for legacy enterprise environments. The weakness: that protocol layer adds latency, flakiness from async timing issues, verbose boilerplate just to click a button. Setup complexity that discourages writing tests in the first place. In 2026, Selenium remains the right choice for exactly one scenario. You have an existing Java or C# test suite that you cannot rewrite. You need to support browsers that Playwright doesn't cover, like Internet Explorer for legacy enterprise apps, or your compliance requirements mandate WebDriver protocol. For greenfield projects, it's no longer a first choice. Cypress launched in 2017 and it felt like a revelation. Instead of Selenium's external driver architecture, Cypress runs directly inside the browser alongside your application. No network hops, no WebDriver protocol. Tests run in the same JavaScript event loop as your app, which means you can stub network requests, intercept API calls, and control time, something Selenium fundamentally cannot do. The developer experience was genuinely better. The built-in test runner showed you exactly what was happening at each step. Time travel debugging let you click on any command and see the DOM snapshot at that moment. For React and Vue applications, Cypress felt native, but it had architectural constraints that became more significant as teams scaled. Cypress originally only supported Chromium-based browsers, no Firefox, no WebKit, no Safari. Cross-browser testing required a separate tool. It ran tests in a single tab, in a single browser instance, which meant parallel execution required third-party plugins or a Cypress Cloud subscription. And it was JavaScript. Only if your team was running Python or C# tests elsewhere, Cypress lived in a separate world. Playwright was built by the same team that originally created Puppeteer at Google, and it launched at Microsoft in 2020. From the beginning, it was designed to fix the specific problems that Cypress had exposed. Multi-browser from day one, Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit, all with the same API. Full parallel execution built in, not bolted on. Multiple tabs, multiple origins, multiple users in a single test, scenarios that Cypress makes awkward, Playwright handles natively. The API is modern and ergonomic. Auto-waiting means Playwright automatically waits for elements to be actionable before interacting with them. No more arbitrary sleep statements, no more explicit wait helpers. Network interception, mobile emulation, accessibility testing, visual comparison testing, all first-class features. And it supports TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, Java, and C#. In 2026, Playwright has become the default recommendation for new E2E testing projects. GitHub Actions and CI providers ship Playwright examples in their docs. The ecosystem momentum has shifted decisively. Let me give you the concrete numbers. Test execution speed on a typical 50 test suite. Playwright with parallel workers runs in 8 to 12 seconds. Cypress with parallelization enabled, 20 to 30 seconds. Selenium, 40 to 60 seconds. The gap is real and it compounds. A 10-minute Selenium suite becomes a 2-minute Playwright suite. Browser support. Playwright covers Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit. Cypress now supports Firefox and Chromium, but still lacks WebKit, meaning no true Safari testing without Playwright. Selenium supports every browser including IE and Legacy Edge. Language support. Playwright works with TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, Java, and C#. Cypress is JavaScript and TypeScript only. Selenium supports virtually every language. Component testing. Cypress has a dedicated component testing mode that's excellent for React, Vue, and Angular. Playwright added component testing support, but it's newer and less mature. If your primary need is component testing specifically, Cypress is still stronger there. Mobile testing. Playwright can emulate mobile browsers and devices natively. Neither Playwright nor Cypress drives a real mobile device. You need a PM for that. CI integration. All three work in CI, but Playwright's out-of-the-box configuration is the least painful. It ships with an HTML reporter, retry logic, and parallel worker configuration that just works. Here's the framework. New project, modern JavaScript or TypeScript stack, needs cross-browser coverage including Safari, use Playwright. Full stop. Existing React, Vue, or Angular project with heavy component testing needs, team already familiar with Cypress, no Safari requirement. Cypress is defensible and you don't need to migrate. Legacy Java, C# or Python test suite, compliance requirements for WebDriver, IE, or legacy browser support, Selenium stays. Need to drive actual mobile devices, not emulation. A PM is the answer, not any of these three. The most important principle, don't migrate working test suites just to be on the trendy tool. A stable 500 test Cypress suite delivers more value than a half-migrated Playwright suite. But for new projects in 2026, Playwright is where the ecosystem is heading. Quick recap. Selenium, 20 years old, every language, every browser, best for legacy or compliance. Cypress, best-in-class developer experience, excellent component testing, limited to JavaScript, weaknesses on cross-browser. Playwright, fastest, broadest browser support, modern API, multi-language, the default choice for new projects in 2026. If you want the full implementation guide with CI configuration, project templates, and how to migrate from Selenium or Cypress, check the blog post linked in the description. Subscribe for more engineering content. I publish 3 times a week. See you in the next one.